Today you're going to be learning about opposites and adding integers on a number line. Our learning goals are show how to add integers using a number line, represent a real-life situation using integer addition, and show on a number line that a number and its opposite have a sum of 0. So why are we using the number line? The benefit is it's a good visual representation of integers. It helps you to understand how the positives and negatives interact when you add them together and why the sum is what it is. The drawback is that it's not good with larger numbers, and it does take more time to draw your number line if you're not given one and to move along your number line. So our steps, we always start at 0. And then if you have a positive number, then you're going to go to the right. And if you have a negative number, you're going to go to the left. If you see an example, it will usually have these nice, pretty arrows, but I cannot do that. So I just kind of draw little steps as we go, and I'll show you that with this first example. So our example is -8 plus -1. So I start at 0. I'm at 0 on my number line. 8 is negative, so it says go to the left. So I'm going to go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See how I use little steps instead of a nice arrow. So -8 to the left, but then I have -1, which is also to the left because it's negative. So then I go one more step. So it's -9. So -8 plus -1, the sum will be -9. Our next example is +8 plus -5. So this time we have a +8, so it's going to go to the right. So I start at 0. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm +8 to the right. But now I have a -5, so I'm going to turn around and go back to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I end at +3. So +8 plus -5 will have a sum of +3. Now we're going to look at a real life example. I'd like you to pause the video now and write the integer that represents each of these temperatures, just like we did in the previous unit. You should have gotten -5. A decrease by 2 is going to be a -2. An increase of 6 will be a +6, and a decrease of 1 will be a -1. So now we're going to write our addition statement. I start at -5, so I'll have -5 plus -2 plus +6 plus -1. So I always start at 0. -5 tells me to go to the left. So I start at 0 and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have -2, that's to the left again, 2 steps. If you don't have different colors, don't worry. You can do this all in pencil. I'm just using different colors so that you can see it. So I have +6 now, which means go to the right. So I was at -7 after I added -5 plus -2. So now I have +6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm at -1. And my last number is a -1. So that tells me to go left 1. So I go left 1 and I end at -2. So my final temperature at 4 o'clock will be -2 degrees. Now we're going to talk about a special kind of addition. If you have two numbers that have a sum of 0, they're called opposites, or they're also called additive inverses. So two numbers that will add up to 0 are opposites or additive inverses. One example here is your football team lost 5 yards, and then on the next play they gained 5 yards. So a loss of 5 would be -5, plus a gain of 5 will be +5. You probably realize that since a +5 and a -5 will cancel out exactly, it will be 0, but our learning goal is to learn how to represent this on a number line. So I start at 0, 5 is negative, so I go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I have a +5, so I go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they will have a sum of 0. Your next example, your grandmother gave you a present, and I just erased everything, so sorry. So if you need anything that you missed, you have to rewind the video and go back and re-watch it. So your grandma gave you $8, an $8 Roblox gift card, and you bought a rainbow mohawk for $8. So she gave you $8, so that's a +8. But then you spent some money on a lovely mohawk for your character, so that's a -8. Start at 0. +8 tells me go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then my -8 tells me to go back to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I will end up at 0. So 8 and -8 are additive inverses because they have a sum of 0. Now you are going to go and you're going to practice these 3 skills.